Do you know what year it is in Ethiopia? Here's a hint, it's not 2024. Now I'm recording this video on New Year's, September 2024 because yes, Ethiopians celebrate New Year's in September. Now a lot of our clients in the US, when they hire a virtual assistant or a cold caller from Ethiopia, they don't know a lot about the culture. And I didn't know either until I lived in Addis Ababa for 8 years. So, to honor all of our amazing virtual assistants and cold callers who are based in Ethiopia, I'm going to tell you a little about this amazing country, including what year it currently is. Let's dive in. Number 1, in September 2024, Ethiopians actually celebrated New Year's 2017. Yes, that's correct. Ethiopia is 7 to 8 years behind the Western Gregorian calendar. Also, their calendar has 13 months in it. So every month is 30 days long, except for the 13th month, which is 5 or 6 days long, depending on its leap year. And that's why Ethiopia has the nickname 13 months of sunshine. Number 2, Ethiopia is the country that invented coffee. And I have to tell you that the best cup of coffee you will ever have will be in Ethiopia. Number 3, Ethiopia has a really strong coffee culture, and there's something called a coffee ceremony where someone takes the raw green coffee beans, roast it in front of everyone, and then makes small 3 cups of coffee. The first one is the strongest and the last one is the weakest. I definitely recommend that you put an Ethiopian coffee ceremony on your bucket list. Number 4, coffee is actually traditionally served with popcorn and incense. Now, my husband, who is Ethiopian, when we first met, he thought it was so weird that I ate popcorn with movies because he was used to eating popcorn with coffee. Number 5, one of the main foods that Ethiopians eat is something called Injera. It's what happens when you take teff grain, which is the smallest grain in the world, you grind it up, you ferment it for 3 days, and you turn it into a fermented crepe, and then you put certain kinds of stews called wats on top, and you eat it with just your right hand. Number 6, Ethiopia is the most vegan-friendly country in the world. That's my personal opinion as a vegan myself. Everywhere you can go, you can get amazing vegan food. Now, India tends to get the reputation for vegan vegetarian food, but I have to tell you that Ethiopia is definitely first. Now 7, Ethiopia also caters to meat eaters. There's a spicy dish called dorawat that everybody loves, and they also love raw meat as a specialty. Now my husband loves raw meat and he definitely makes up for me being vegan. We balance each other out in meat consumption for sure. Number 8, there are over 80 languages spoken in Ethiopia. Now keep this in mind, Ethiopia is about twice the size of Texas and over 80 languages are spoken. That's crazy. Number 9, one of the main languages spoken is called Amharic, and instead of using traditional English letters, they use symbols called Fidel, and I have an Amharic tattoo on my ankle. Number 10, thanks to someone called the Hyena Whisperer, you can go to the city of Harar and feed a wild hyena raw meat out of your mouth. I've done it once, it's super crazy. Definitely if you're ever in Ethiopia, you should check it out and try it. Number 11, Ethiopia is the only African country never colonized. In fact, the story of how the Italians tried to beat Ethiopia and lost is a great history story that you should read more about. Number 12, I was actually an actress in an Ethiopian movie. Now, that's not really a fact about Ethiopia, but it's just a cool fact that I like to brag about. Number 13, Ethiopia is one of the oldest countries in the world. It used to be known as Abyssinia or the land of Kush, and it's actually mentioned in the Bible over 37 times. In fact, some believe that Ethiopia is the first country ever in the world. It's another reason why it has the nickname Land of Origins, and if you go to their museum in Addis Ababa, you can see a replica of Lucy, who is one of the oldest skeletons ever found of a human. Number 14, a lot of our clients just assume that Africa is really hot, but in reality, it's a massive continent, and there's different weather all throughout the continents. So take, for example, Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia. It has perfect weather year-round. It's almost 70s the whole time. There's a slight breeze, and that's because the city is on a higher altitude because there's so many mountains in Ethiopia. However, there is a place called the Danakil Depression, which has this really cool lava lake and really colorful acidic springs, and that is actually the hottest place on Earth. Number 15, there are over 110 million people in Ethiopia, and the capital city actually has about 5 or 6 million people. Now, I grew up in the second biggest city in Indiana called Fort Wayne. It has 200,000. So when I was growing up, I thought I was from a big city until I moved to Addis Ababa and I realized what a big city actually is. Now, out of all the people in Ethiopia, there are a few really famous names, and besides the famous Olympic runners who often score gold in races, there's of course The Weeknd, who's one of the most famous singers who's from Ethiopia. There's also the actress Ruth Negga, who's half Ethiopian, half Irish. There's the supermodel Galila Bekele, who used to date Tyler Perry. And of course, there's a really famous chef, Marcus Samuelsson, who's also Ethiopian. Number 16, what a lot of our clients are surprised by is how good the English accent is in Ethiopia. And I think that's one, because a lot of people watch Hollywood movies, but really it's also because they start taking English at a young age. So starting in kindergarten, most Ethiopians are taking one English class in their school. And then by the time they get to high school and college, it's all in English except for one class that's in Amharic. And so they have really great English proficiency. And number 17, Ethiopia is considered one of the most emerging outsourcing destinations in the world. And that's for several reasons. First, as I said, there's over 110 million people. So for large companies who want to scale up to hundreds and hundreds of customer service opportunities, Ethiopia has a large talent pool simply because of how many people are in the country. Again, it's because there's so much great English and the work ethic is really good. There's just a lot of reasons why Ethiopia is slowly becoming synonymous with outsourcing. So before you would think of the Philippines or India, but soon most people will start to think of Ethiopia. And that's actually what we're most excited about Cradle, is helping Ethiopia become a destination known for its incredible talents. Now it's your turn. I want to know if you've been to Ethiopia before or what questions you have about this incredible country. Leave it in the comments below and I can't wait to follow along. If you want to learn more about hiring from the continent, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much.